Alright, so we're back with another explainer kind of video for the question from dataexpert.io. Calculate average lead time for each shipping option. So walking through this, using the Playground Superstore table, we're going to construct a query to calculate the average lead time from order to shipping for each shipping option. The lead time is defined as the number of days from the order date to the ship date. Additionally, count the total number of shipping services provided for each shipping option. The output should include the shipping mode, the total count of shipping services, total shipping service, and the average lead time rounded to 2 decimal places. We also need to return those results by shipping mode in descending order. So there's a lot baked into that. We'll go through that a little more in depth in a moment. As you can see, the Playground Superstore table is quite large, a lot of detail in there. We're not concerned with a lot of it, but we'll walk through that as we start to drill in on what we actually need. Keep in mind we need to return these values, a varchar named ship mode, a total shipping service integer, and an average lead time as a double. So let's take a look at the data we have here. Okay, so we got a lot of data, right? There's a ton of stuff in there. We're not really too worried about most of it. So let's break this down into a little more digestible chunks. The first thing we see is we've got this requirement: calculate the average lead time from order shipping for each shipping option. Okay, and calculate that from the average lead time from the order date to ship date. And there's another hint in there that we want to count the total number of shipping services for each shipping option. So let's think about that a little bit more. So by thinking calculate the average lead time, we know that we need to use the average function. We know that we will perform a calculation against order date and ship date. In our case, we want to average the difference between the two dates, or a date diff function call. With the second portion of the hint, we are told count the total number of shipping services for each shipping option. So let's start simply. We're going to remark this piece here. And we want to select the ship mode. We want to get the order date, and we want the ship date. So from playground.superstore. Okay, so let's run that query. Okay, so this is kind of the data we're going to be looking at the most, right? And what we want to do is we also want to get a count of all the records grouped by ship mode, right? That was part of that requirement. So shipping service, and that's going to address this one right here. Additionally, count the total number of shipping services provided for each shipping option. So these two lines will give us that, right? Now keep in mind, because we're using an aggregate here, or aggregation function, we're going to also have to do a group by ship mode. Let's go ahead and run that, and we're probably going to get an error. We'll talk about that. Alright. Oh, that wasn't an error I was thinking we would see, but we'll try again here. Okay. Order date must be aggregate expression or appear in a group by clause. Okay. So, because we're doing an aggregate here, we're kind of bound to have to aggregate other values in here or group by them. So we're just going to add that for a moment. Order date, ship date. Okay. So now we're getting total shipping service, but if we notice, it's also being grouped by these two columns as well. So we don't really want to do that, but we're kind of stuck now, right? So we have to figure this piece out. So let's go ahead and we'll just remark these two lines. And we'll run this again. So now we're getting something a little better. All right. So we can see that our lead, let's see, yeah. So we remove those, and we can also condense now. We can get those order date and ship dates back in by doing a date diff, and we want to say by day, and then we want to say order date and ship date, and we'll call this as lead time. But this isn't going to work. We're going to get an error because, again, we need to be grouping by. We don't really want to group by a date diff, right? But we can get around this a little bit by making this an average and aggregating that value as well, right? Okay. So we also know that we were supposed to name this average lead time. So let's go ahead and fix that, average lead time. And now that we don't really need this example, we'll delete that. And we'll get rid of that too. Okay. So now we can run that just to verify all of our cleanup is good. Okay. So we're looking a little better here, but our values are really long and it's causing a failure with our requirement, right? And if we look up here, the average lead time should be rounded to 2 decimal places, right? So let's go ahead and clean that up. Round and comma 2. Okay. So we'll run that query. Okay. The value is first class. Should be same day. So same day's at the bottom, and we're expecting it at right here, I guess. Right. So let's clean that up. We know that that is a result of, or that check failure is a result of us not adhering to this requirement, right? Order the results by shipping mode in descending order. So we'll say order by ship mode descending. And there we are. So hope that helps. Please leave any questions or comments in the comments section, and we'll see you for the next video. Thanks so much.